A market crash is coming, guys. This is what I see. It's going to start on April Fool's Day or a little bit thereafter.
What we have coming is frightening, and that is the only word I can use for it, but nobody seems to believe that, because we're in this modern monetary economic theory where all they do is print money. That money just makes everybody's lives easier. It pumps it in, but they don't understand the repercussions of that.
The biggest news this week of Tesla taking a big scoop of Bitcoin.
Elon Musk makes one of his riskiest bets ever, linking Tesla's fortunes to Bitcoins. The world's richest man now investing $1.5 billion worth of his company's money in the cryptocurrency. Its price hit a record high on the news. One Bitcoin is now worth close to $43,000 US.
It's very interesting, following in the footsteps of Michael Saylor behind MicroStrategy.
You know, I think that Bitcoin is digital gold, and that means it's faster. I can move it 1,000 places in a couple of seconds. It's stronger. I can pledge $100 million of it for 3 hours in Japan on a Saturday afternoon, right? It's smarter. I can write a computer program that'll slice it in a million pieces and do complicated things with it. It's only going to get better every year forever because it's software. And what that means is people that are attracted to Apple and Amazon and Google and Facebook, because they're smarter, faster, stronger networks, they're going to be attracted to Bitcoin.
Many people view Bitcoin as a great vehicle for wealth preservation, more so than gold. How do you see it, Jim?
Well, I hardly see how it's a wealth preservation. It's only been around a short period of time. The people who bought it right are making money and creating wealth. I'm not sure that Bitcoin hasn't stood the test of time, but the test of hard times. If you're talking about wealth preservation, we will see. My view, as I think you remember, is that if Bitcoin becomes successful as money, which the advocates say, then the government's going to outlaw it because they don't want to lose the monopoly. They don't want the competition. They want the control.
Moving into Bitcoin, obviously there's a fear of the value of the US dollar, of what will happen to the currency, what will happen to our economy. How do you see things?
You could have spent $1 million on a bond in 2010 that paid you $50,000 a year in interest. This year, you would pay $10 million for the same bond. It's a 22% inflation rate. I think that we're going to see those sort of products continue to inflate. I think that eventually there'll be consequences and there'll be changes in behavior.
I've been to this movie before. It's not my first rodeo. I know how it's where you see new players come in. The whole thing with Bitcoin is another sign of that. The short squeeze we just had, massive numbers of new people coming into markets. It's all happened before. It all plays out more or less the same way in the end. And in the end, of course, it pops. And a lot of people lose a lot of money. In the end, of course, it pops. And a lot of people lose a lot of money. In the end, of course, it pops. And a lot of people lose a lot of money.
Tesla is not going to be able to rely on that money as the years go on. So Elon is kind of facing a little bit of a problem. His revenues at Tesla are not growing fast enough to keep up with the expansion of the company. And as those energy credits dry up, he's going to need to be able to grow that revenue and increase his cash pile so that he can keep up with the ambitions that Tesla has.
And so we got the biggest bubble peaking now, going into the biggest downturn cycle. So what you're saying is there could not be a bigger cycle. We will not see, and I've been saying that, I've been predicting this for decades, not just recently. The bubble happened and went even more because of quantitative easing. But the biggest cycle down is here, and we will not see something like this for the rest of our lifetimes, most of us. So this is a big deal to happen.
You mentioned the stock market bubble. This is something we've obviously spoken about in the past, Jim, and how you prepare for it. I had one guest on this week saying we could see it as early as April.
See the bubble pop?
Yes.
Yeah, we can.
Gold crashed 33% overnight when it saw that it wasn't going to be an inflationary crisis. And the gold bugs are going to be dead wrong, right about the crisis, dead wrong about it being an inflation crisis. It's going to be deflation. You look at history in developed countries, 9 out of 10 at least major financial crises are deflationary.
There's no place to hide, not even gold, not Bitcoin, not gold. The only thing he sees safe is cash and 30-year bonds, 30-year treasury bonds. What's safe for you?
I never use the word safe in the investment world. I've been around long enough.
Some place to hide.
Okay, something maybe less dangerous or more safe than others. Well, the only place to hide, of course, is selling short if you know what you're doing, or cash. But you have to have the right cash. You know, in 2007 and 8, a lot of people saw problems coming and they went into cash. A lot of them went into Icelandic krona. Then Iceland went broke, you know, so it lost a huge amount of money going into cash.
Are we going to see a market crash in April? Because I hear that from a lot of people who've come on the show. They specifically pointed out April as being the timeline for a major correction. Are we seeing that?
Many of those indicators are starting to flash a warning signal, interestingly enough, around the time we enter April.
We could see it as early as April.
It's going to start on April Fool's Day or a little bit thereafter.